Hi there, I'm Jess. Today I'm going to show you how to make some vanilla body butter, and today we're going to use shea butter, and this is different recipe than the last formulation that I put where it was called the 3-ingredient body butter. This is also going to be a simple beginner tutorial step-by-step on how to make body butter. I'm just going to be using different ingredients for this video. Also, in my last video, I used a stand mixer, and this time I'm not going to be using a stand mixer because not everybody has one, and I want everybody to see a different technique that you can use with just a handheld mixer to whip the body butter. So I'm going to be doing that in this video to show you. Start off by just getting yourself a big bowl. I've got this one here, and get yourself some alcohol that you're going to spray down and sanitize your bowl. So you just spray it with alcohol and use a nice clean piece of paper towel and just give it a wipe out. Next step is to get yourself a kitchen scale, put your bowl on top of it, turn it on, and make sure that it tears to 0. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take some shea butter. I've got some in a nice container here, and we are going to do 72% of this formula will be shea butter. So I'm going to double that or triple that. So I've got my calculator here. So with this recipe, I've just got it on a sticky note here. I'll show you the numbers and ingredients on the screen. So I've got, when I say I'm going to use a 72% batch, I'm going to pretend that the percentages are like 100 grams. So I'm going to take 72, times it by 3, and I'm going to add 216 grams of shea butter to my mixing bowl. So just get your shea butter, make sure that your scale is at 0, and start adding it to your bowl until you've got 216 grams. Now we're going to take this shea butter and put it on a double boiler to melt. A double boiler is simply a pot that you can put your bowl on top of, and you fill it with water and let the steam come up and raise to the bottom of the pot to melt the shea butter. And a quick tip is that if you have some boiling water like in a kettle and you add it to the bottom, it'll start the melting process that much quicker. Shea butter melts quite quickly, so don't walk away too much from your double boiler. Make sure that you stay nearby as it melts, and you don't want to like super overheat it. Like as it's melted, you just want to take it off the heat right away. So I've turned off my heat now, and I'm just waiting for the last bits of shea butter there to melt. So while we're waiting for that to be ready, what we're going to do is we're going to measure out our sunflower oil. Now we're going to use 25.9% sunflower oil, so I'm going to take 25.9 and I'm going to times that by 3, and I get 77.7%. So into this little beaker here, I'm going to be weighing out 77.7% sunflower oil. I have a glass beaker. You just use any sort of measuring device that you have. It doesn't have to be a fancy beaker like this. I like a precision scale to get that measurement exact, and getting one of these for yourself would be very, very helpful. I have my sunflower oil here, and I am just going to weigh into my beaker 77.7 grams now. Now into my beaker, I'm going to be adding 2% of my fragrance or essential oils. So in this case, I'm going to be using a vanilla. So I'm adding 6 grams of the vanilla into here. You tear your scale in between each ingredient that you add. Now we're going to be adding vitamin E at 0.1%. And remembering we're doing 3 times this recipe, so I'm going to be adding 0.3%. Now I always keep a little pipette with my vitamin E so I can easily measure it out. I put my bowl on a towel so that it doesn't move around as much, and the bottom may be wet for being in the double boiler. Just be careful you don't burn your hands on the side of your bowl. Remember, you had it in hot water. And then you see the shea butter is nice and melted, and we're just simply going to pour in the sunflower oil, the vitamin E, and the whatever fragrance that you've chosen for this. So just give them a little mix, and then you just need to let it cool before we can move on to the next step. Okay, it's the next day now, and I've covered this, and you can see that it's solid again. What I'm going to do now is I am going to use my my handheld mixer, you see, like this, and I'm going to begin mixing. Obviously, I'm going to take my spatula out first. So just make sure that you have sanitized your beaters, and then just put it on low to begin with, and then begin whipping up the shea butter just like you would if it was whipped cream. Hold the bowl with one arm, and then hold the mixer with your dominant arm. It'll be easier to do this. And then you can see here the consistency is starting to get whipped and fluffy. You just want to keep on mixing this until you get the consistency of it just keeps increasing, because it will actually get larger as it's whipped. And every once in a while, scrape down the sides with a spatula and then continue mixing. Now I've whipped this for 5 minutes, stopping about 3 times to scrape down the bowl, and I'll show you how light and fluffy it is now. So my spatula, look at that. So if you could probably even go longer if you wanted to, and really see how much the shea butter could expand for yourself. But play with this and your consistencies, but I quite like how fluffy and light this is. Now all that's left to do is to package it. Now, if you are making this to sell, you need to make sure that you use some alcohol and sanitize your packaging and wipe it out. And if you're making it for yourself, it's probably a good idea to sanitize whatever container you're putting it in, but you don't need to worry about measuring it and weighing out the jars. So if you're selling this, you just use your packaging choice. Get a small precision scale and make sure that it's tared to 0 before you start adding the body butter into it. If you package your body butter while it's nice and fluffy and light, it's a lot better to use. It's softer and easier to use, I should say, is that it's easier to get the product to go into the container and look really good. Like you can see, it looks really nice and fluffy in there. After you've packaged up your body butter, all that's left to do is to put the sticker on it. If your stickers don't stick to your tins or whatever your container you're using, just spray it with some alcohol first, give it a wipe with a clean paper towel or kitchen towel, whatever you want to call it, and then you can apply your label like that, and it's ready to go. I hope you had fun making your body butter, and that if you made it to sell, you kept a little bit for yourself as well, so that you can spoil yourself and take care of your own skin too. Please leave any comments or questions that you have down in the comments section below, and I will be sure to answer them for you. If you would like to learn to make anything and you would like me to do one of these in-depth tutorials and show you how, please leave me a little comment below, and have a really great day and have a great time making this. Skincare should be fun to make. You should be enjoying yourself. So have fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay.